this is a piece from Debussy, and it's called Dr. Gradus at Parnassum. With that weird title, it was
Dr.
used
Gradus?
at Parnassum, and it was used as a exercise to teach piano technique for children. And it's very interesting because a lot of these composers, the word etude, for instance, comes from exercises that were established to learn piano technique. And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about today. And you just saw Yash.
Yes, I miss him when you're playing. I already miss him.
And with Yash, this very important topic about institutions that have been set up for music education. And that's why I played something from a repertoire of music education, because this is actually used as an exercise to learn how to. In fact, in Chopin, there's this piece which goes. And it's like if somebody looks at it, it's like you're kneading dough or something on the piano.
But what does it do? It loosens up your fingers?
It does. It's actually a study. It's actually called an etude, and it's called the black key etude, to familiarize students with the black keys and how to use the black keys and how to move between the black keys. So that and that movement for the wrist. And these are all devised as exercises. So, even great composers have been thinking about not just performance and what they can do to increase their fame, but they've been thinking about education in a very big way.
Now, I was thinking, before we delve deeper into music education, I was talking to T.M. Krishna recently, and we talked about Ragam Tanam Pallavi. Is there something like that for the piano?
Yeah, see, for instance, in Western classical music, you have this entire repertoire called the sonata form. But I must say one thing, in classical Western music, there is no concept explicitly of improvisation. So in ragam singing, for instance, you have a lot of improvising, and it brings out what you call the manodharma of the vocalist. It brings out the imagination and creativity of the vocalist and being able to explore the raga. You don't have a direct equivalent in Western classical repertoire, although I would argue that many of the sort of theme and variations kind of studies are literally getting into that. You have something called the sonata, which takes a motive or a key, takes a theme in one key. So for instance, Mozart, you have which is like the theme, but then it gets explored in one speed or column in the first movement. The second movement will be composed exactly the opposite of that. It's usually in a minor key, in a totally different time signature, only very loosely sticking to the theme. So it's like this. So we don't even know where that first theme went. And then it comes back to the third movement, which is also again fast, but tries to bring back the first theme, like things like that. So the thing is that they did start exploring that concept, and I mean, sonatas are very established and a very integral part of classical Western solo repertoire. So I would argue that probably comes close to being an equivalent, but not an equal.
But so if you start improvising, and then it becomes jazz, huh?
I think that's too loose to say. Not really. I think the theme and variations kind of architecture in Western music probably comes close to the idea of improvising. But first of all, it's not a raga-based system, it's a scale-based system.
Let's listen to a sonata.
So I'll play another Beethoven sonata, which is called The Tempest.
That's the calm after the storm. It's very aptly named.
Yeah, it's The Tempest. It's very beautiful.
So Anil, when we come back after the break, you'll tell us more about Brihadvani. Anil has taken over as the director of a school called Brihadvani, a music school. We've been talking about art and education quite a lot in the previous episodes. So I'd like to hear about what vision you have for the school. Stay tuned to Keys and Conversations.
And there are 12 variations, and I played only the first one, but that, as you can see, is not as simple as just playing it. So when you start doing,